Hi guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. Today we're going to be doing... I actually done a thumbnail. Just before we get into anything else, I did a thumbnail. I'm proud of it. I'm happy with it. It was not very difficult. It was pretty basic, but it was good. I liked it. So what we're going to be looking at today is basically different builds that compare to the classes of WoW. And what do I mean by this? I mean, pretty much every gamer at some point in their life has played WoW. I would definitely hold at least a 90% sort of ratio to that you've either played it, you know of it, anything like that. Why can't I join this? Okay. But yeah, so pretty much every single player, every single major gamer, the gamers that have been around for a while, has played WoW at some point or another. Okay, I really can't think of many people that have potentially played another game that's similar, but like I said. So, what I want to do is give some builds that kind of match the class fantasy, so to speak, of the same classes that the same specs that they potentially played in WoW and enjoyed in WoW. So, the first one we have here is the Subtlety Rogue. Now, the Subtlety Rogue was known, for me, I played a Subtlety Rogue back in the day, back in Burning Crusade, really, and I played it again in Legion, but it was known as one that was very slippery, hard to lock down, good amount of burst, or a major amount of burst. That was kind of what they were known for. They were stealthy, they were just incredibly slippery. Now, in this build, we have the dual daggers. Now, what the dual daggers allowed you to do, they actually give you a couple of different things that you can do with these. When this big mob stops hitting me. So the Q stacks, running the Assassin Spirit, allows you to get into a fight and open a fight with a lot of burst. So as you can see here, I'm going to build my stacks up, and I have two choices at this point. If things are going bad for me, I can be that Subtlety Rogue, the hard one to lock down, and I can stealth, and I'm out of the situation. The other thing I can do is actually stack my stacks up when I can. Come on, keep going. So I've got my stacks up, and I can now actually go in, get some burst off, and put some damage out. And then when things get a little bit too much, I've got so much mobility to get out of things, and so many ways to escape a situation that it just kind of feels it has the same sort of class fantasy. It's all about being that big burst, sort of hard to lock down character. And I think this setup does really well. So what we're running here is the dual dagger with the Assassin Spirit. We're running the dash. Anyone who's played old school WoW will know that rogues used to have the wound poison. Forbidden Stab reduces the target's ability to heal. You've got that as well. You've got the Slit Throat, which is effectively Eviscerate with a bleed on it. So it's not quite as bursty, but it does have a good amount of damage in total. You've got that on the daggers. You've got the Hunter's Hood, which gives you that defensive. Every rogue had a couple of defensives, had tricks up their sleeves. It's a defensive as well as reflect damage. Does a lot for a rogue sort of play style. You've then got the Assassin Jacket, giving ambush, allowing you to stealth, physically stealth, move around. It helps build up your burst, so what you can actually do is, as any rogue will tell you, was able to set up big amounts of burst. So if you can find another mob here, I will do just that so I can show you what I mean. I feel a bit harsh doing it on a marmot. In fact, we're going to do it on a marmot. So you can use the stealth offensively or defensively. You can use it as an escape tool, you can use it to increase your burst. And again, you used to be able to use ambush in that way. You used to either be able to get another reset of stealth off and do some more damage, or you used to use ambush or vanish, sorry, as a defensive tool to get away from a situation. Again, it follows very much into this class fantasy of a Subtlety Rogue. So as you can see, I'm building stacks up here. I now go straight into stealth, and as soon as my stacks build up here, it gets to 10, bang, and we do some burst. It isn't particularly much, but I have no mastery. It does a lot of burst, and again, it allows you to make the decisions to choose between them, which I like. You then have the Assassin Shoes, allowing you to immune things, as well as getting a bit of a move speed increase and roll away from a position. I think this just represents something like Evasion or Cloak of Shadows perfectly for a rogue. You just get out of a situation so well. You get to immune damage, you get to immune CC. I think this just suits a rogue perfectly, being able to get out of any situation intact. Secondly, we have the dual swords, the Fury Warrior. So firstly, we have the dual swords. Dual swords are kind of like a full aggression style of play. It's all about building up your stacks and diving in for some big damage, big numbers, getting the interrupts off, getting the damage off, and you hitting people hard. And that's kind of what represents a warrior to me. Someone who doesn't care about their own life. They're just going in there and they're going to cause hell. It's all about just doing damage, causing mayhem. And I think that's what Dual Swords does for me. You have the E ability, which allows you just to dive in sort of a mighty sort of swing, giving that sort of feel of heroic leaping into the middle of a fight. You can really do that. You then have the Stalker Jacket, which obviously it wasn't directly linked to any of the warrior abilities in WoW. However, it kind of gives the right feel to me in that Stalker Jacket is all about being aggressive, being in the middle of things. There's a massive crackles of lightning. You're aggressive, you're in. That kind of represents a warrior to me, a Fury Warrior, someone who's all about just doing damage, getting in there, being in the brunt of a fight. We then have the block. Every warrior had that sort of reflector, shield reflect or shield wall, something just to get out of dodge when things were getting a little bit messy. And that's what block is to me. It's a counter, it's a just get out of dodge situation. And I think that's what every warrior had at some point or another. They were able to get out of a situation when it got a little bit too hairy for them or they were in too deep. And again, I think block does that perfectly for a warrior. And finally, we have the Guardian Boots. What the Guardian Boots allow you to do is go giant. So you imagine this right here. I've built up my stacks. As you can see, I'm trying to do it on this golem right here. I've popped giant, so I've gone massive. I've popped my Stalker Jacket, and I jump in, big damage. I'm aggressive, I'm tanky, I'm offensive, I'm doing a lot of damage, and obviously it's not going to stand up for much anyway, but that's really what a Fury Warrior does to me. That's what it makes me feel like. It feels like I should be able to do that, and yeah, I think this is probably the best representation of a Fury Warrior currently in the game. And finally, we have the Affliction Warlock. So anyone knows that Curse in Albion is my baby. Anyone who's known of me in WoW, I've played a couple of different servers, a couple of different high-rating sort of characters. Warlock was always one that I did really well on, and again, I think this has a very similar playstyle. Now, it's not about burst. You're not bursting anybody. That's not the reason you play Great Curse. You play it because you want dots. You want to put dots up. You want to be able to put pressure on people, and effectively you play the teams that just put an overwhelming amount of pressure onto people that they just can't deal with. And that was always Affliction for me, a debuffer, someone who was going to put sort of the armor piercers, so to speak, but the debuffs, the things that stop an enemy team from being able to do anything. And I think that's exactly what Affliction is in WoW, and that's exactly what Curse does in Albion. So as you can see here, I'm using my Q ability, I'm putting on stacks on the target, I can double dot. So again, I'm just going to rotate around, I'm going to keep moving because again, the Affliction locks were always moving around, always dotting people up. We've dotted 2 people up, we can go for some channel dots, get dots on everybody in the area. We've got the armor piercer just to sort of debuff, allowing our dots to do more as well as our teammates. We're running with 3 defensive, or sort of 2.5 defensive, so to speak. We run with a Frost Shield. Obviously, Frost Shield isn't directly linked to a Warlock, but it is a defensive. It was Warlocks, to me, especially Affliction Warlocks, were always tanky. We run with the delayed teleport. Any Affliction Warlock in WoW will tell you how important it is to play around that teleport function. I don't even know if they've still got it now, but they certainly used to still have that demonic teleport. And Mage Teleport allows you to do the same thing, allows you to outplay people, keep your dots up on people while being just an absolute nightmare to lock down and control. And then ultimately we have the Ice Block for when things just get too hairy. You are just an absolute tank. You obviously take no damage during that time, you are immune. I think this suits an Affliction lock quite nicely. You aren't worried about burst, you aren't worried about actually getting the kills on people, you're just there to be ridiculously tanky, hard to lock down, difficult to deal with effectively while putting out an immense amount of damage. So guys, please tell me what you think of this video. It was a completely sort of an idea that someone posted to me on YouTube actually. It was a very interesting idea off the Fiddlesticks one I did, based on obviously the League of Legends character Fiddlesticks. So if this is something that you guys are interested in, just to see what I can come up with for all the different talent builds in WoW, please let me know in the comments below. It's something I'm very interested in hearing your feedback about. If you didn't like this, please tell me as well. I'm all about both sides. Please constructive criticism. But yeah, so like I said guys, please let me know how you think of this video. It's something completely different, something I've never done before. So yeah, thank you for watching guys, and catch you later. Goodbye.